I didn't work much professionally as a kid, but I had a special voice when I was a kid, and we always knew that I should be training my instrument and be working on it and stuff. So I wasn't necessarily good to like book TV shows or roles when I was younger because my voice was developing really fast, but I was still a little kid. So it didn't really make sense for a long time, but I knew that I wanted to be a singer, and it was the only thing that I felt like I excelled at. I didn't feel like I was good at academics. I didn't feel like I was good at any of that, but I could sing.
Josh's training and talent led to him being pulled on stage to sing with his idol, Josh Groban, thanks in part to fans of the famous singer who noticed similarities between the two Joshes.
So, yeah, it was a big turning point for me when that happened. Yeah.
So he normally calls people on stage, and it just so happened that you were the person called that night?
I mean, he does sometimes, and I think his fans knew his fans were aware of who I was, and they submitted my information without me knowing pretty much. And so I'm sitting there, and they get to a Q&A section of the show, and he calls my seat number, and you're like Madison Square Garden Arena. Like, I remember getting there and thinking like, oh, it'd be so cool, and then going, it's impossible. You know, like there are so many people here that the chance that my seat gets picked is so, so it just completely left my mind. And then midway through the show, I was, just completely unaware. It was a huge moment. You remember feeling like this is something that a lot of people are going to see. This is going to change the game, and now over 10 million views, and just completely changed my life. I went on tour with Jackie Evancho immediately after, and then America's Got Talent happened a few years later, which really wouldn't have happened if not for that Groban experience.
And how did the three of you meet?
We met online initially after the video went viral with Groban, and then we decided to get together and try, and 2 days before the audition we met in person for the first time. Practiced the song, and then got up and just went straight there. And our first audience ever, our first public performance was our debut on the show. And then from there, it was just, it's like getting caught in an avalanche. You just go whoosh,
And I feel like that's part of what makes you guys special, because it kind of adds to your story.
Sure.
It's incredible.
And then the episode airs, and it is like an atomic bomb of exposure. It was a huge experience, and you cancel everything going on in your life, and you commit to it. And that's what we did after the episode aired. It was like, okay, moving on to Vegas rounds, and that's a whole other story once you get sucked into the whole process of the show, because it's a competition, but it's a reality TV show, and that adds a whole different element to how you're introduced to the world.
What were you most surprised about the whole situation being on America's Got Talent?
I think it just took me, not necessarily surprised about, but it took me a while to acclimate to how exposure affects you.
Okay.
To how, when that many people see you, and when that many people are reaching out and trying to connect with you, and the opportunities and things, it's not a grounding feeling. Like, it's a dream come true, but it's not something that helps you sleep at night. It's something that keeps you awake at night. It's like a lot of attention, a lot of exposure. So throughout that summer, I think I learned to get good at staying grounded while having a success like that, I think.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And were you nervous before each live performance? What did the three of you do to kind of prepare? I can't even imagine performing in front of that many people.
Well, the first performance, I'm not going to say that there wasn't a little bit of a panic attack thing happening between the three of us right before we went on. So there was a little bit of craziness, because you prepare your entire life, and then it's like these 90 seconds are what people are going to see. So how does that affect you as a performer? Are you going to go out there and are you going to be thinking about that, or are you going to be able to commit to the performance and be where you are in front of you? And then you walk out on stage, and it feels like a dream because you've seen the show so many times, and a part of you is connecting that, okay, those are the judges that I've seen on. Okay, so I'm living one of those moments right now, and it goes by in the flash of an eye, and if you do well, they're all freaking out, and your entire life has changed, So it's a crazy experience. The best thing about Forte is that no matter how it goes, at the end, you are just throwing your energy at the greatest audience in the world. So I think it's the right group for the show, and I think it was a great ride that season. Yeah.
Well, I think everybody agreed, because your group was the first group out of your season to have their own show in Vegas. Correct?
Sure. Yes. So we headlined our own show in Vegas soon after being on the show. Vegas was cool. That's the first time I ever got off an airplane, and billboards of ourselves were driving by, and you step on an advertisement for yourself on the street, and you're like, oh my god.
Did it feel like a dream?
Yeah, it feels like a dream the first time you walk on stage, and then it's like a sustainable dream over time. It still affects your life in crazy ways. Yeah. Since the show ended, we have worked to kind of independently create the future of the group, and so it's been a few years, and we're learning how to produce it on our own, and we're coming up with our own concepts and doing everything on our own pretty much, which is very rare for a tenor group.
Absolutely. Yeah. And what's next for Forte?
The question isn't what do we do next. The question is what's something that no opera singers have ever done before. And what we're doing right now is we're producing a lot of music videos. So it's all about YouTube now. It's all about these great ideas and merging different concepts with your style of performance to be able to reach a broader audience, which in a way is what America's Got Talent is. So Game of Thrones was our first concept that was like no opera singers, crossover singers have ever done anything like this. And that was a way for us to create something and then prove to the world that this is what we should be doing.
Now that's like an epic video. How did you go about planning that? Because it looks like a movie.
Yeah.
How well produced it is.
It was one of the most difficult, insane experiences of my entire life, because we had never produced the group before, so we were learning how to produce the song first, and once we got into production for the video, it's insane because it's all on you. All of the responsibility is on you when you become an independent creator.
I saw the Game of Thrones official Twitter page shared your video. How did that change the game?
Indeed. They shared it last year on the day of the premiere, and that was insane affirmation. Also, the creator of the language from the show gave us his blessing.
So besides Forte, what's next in music for you?
Next in music for me, besides Forte,
yes,
and there is some cool
Forte.
new stuff going on in Forte, but besides Forte, I'm in a group called Brothers Page with my brother Zach, and we work on YouTube covers of different songs, and we're working on original work right now and raising money to make videos. And over the past year, we've amassed almost 80,000 fans on Vine, and we're almost past like 38 million loops on Vine. So working on Brothers Page music, and then also a new group that is being formed right now that I'm going to be singing in, which is a full-on modern EDM entity, electronic dance music, that me and Zach and our close collaborator, producer friend Brian Ford, and we're creating this group together, and we're the same team that works on Forte. So to me, working in all of the different genres is going to be the defining factor of even taking opera to the next level. Because if you can get opera to fit into an EDM drop, then you are reaching audiences that would have never heard that before. So new Forte stuff is going to be out very, very soon. We're working on some videos that are on our new album called The Future Classics, which is a collection of songs that are all modern hits reinterpreted with opera singers.
I'm excited.
Yes.
So one last question. Where do you see your music career in 10 years from now? Where do you see Forte?
Well, I hope that all of the entities, Forte, Brothers Page, and Aura, can be a well-balanced diet of different styles, and that they all start to feed each other, because I love them all, and I don't think I'm willing to give up on any of them. So I just want to keep committing to watching them all grow in their own world, and being able to sing folk music, opera crossover concepts, and also create incredible EDM dance music.
I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys put out there
Thanks
really
so much.
soon. Thank you so much.
Thank